Stryker, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. This is Stryker of Enyo, and this is also Jason. Stryker's perspective, we're talking about Nintendo again. I'm not sure if YouTube, if you guys have been hit with the previous version of, what did I call it? What's wrong with Nintendo? This is What's Wrong with Nintendo Still. I don't know why my voice just cracked. I guess I'm just so young and energetic, and apparently I haven't touched a boob yet. But yeah, so this is Nintendo's failures to endure technology. And but first, this is a milestone. I actually wanted to thank you guys for reaching a milestone. And you might be thinking, oh, what? Did you get 10,000 subscribers? Like, no. 5,000? No. 1,000? No. It's 100. I'll let that sink into you. Yes, I'm actually thanking you guys for 100 subscribers, which may or may not be accurate by the time I load this. I should be at 101 by the time I load this and put it on YouTube. I'm sure I'll be down to 95 or whatever. Thanks YouTube. But yeah, so this is just a thank you. I wanted to thank everyone that subscribed, everyone that's put a like or even a dislike, and yeah, anyone that's even commented on what I've done wrong or the fact that my mic is too close to my mouth. Honestly, that mic in particular didn't really matter how far away I had it. It was crap. So I replaced that one eventually, but unfortunately I still got some older videos coming out that still use that one. So sorry about that. But yeah, so I just wanted to thank all 100 of you. So here we go. Long Penis Forever, thank you so much. Peter Piper Penis, thank you for your subscription. Lots of tits for you. That's a bit on the nose. Huge Load McGurk, thank you for your comments. Dennis Vagina Rodman, that's kind of an older joke. People probably don't know who Dennis Rodman really is anymore, but hey, thanks. Thanks for your comments, and thank you for being a subscription. And thank you. What is this? Your mom ate here. Okay, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't thank you guys because your names are too frickin' vulgar. But it's okay. So those names may or may not be real. But yeah, I really do thank, and it's just a blessing that any of you guys are even subscribed to me. Thank you so much. I hope I'm creating content that you love. I'm sorry if you came here for my Metal Gear Solid tip videos and you're probably wondering, well, why haven't I made 10 more of them? I just made a few of them, for people that to help out. I don't normally make, tip videos. I think my real strength is getting pissed at video games and yelling at them, and the stuff I come up with saying. So I'm sorry. I will do an occasional tip video, but it's not my main suit, unfortunately. But here we go. This is What's Wrong with Nintendo Still. And there might be... Really, I gotta have the outline of the character, too. God... And unfortunately, PewDiePie. I had a couple of my fans mention the whole PewDiePie thing, just because it's so friggin' huge. This footage is from a game called The Long Dark. I actually kind of recommend it. I'm going to be doing a What's It Like episode on it fairly soon. I don't know if you guys are going to get it necessarily right away, but it's kind of interesting. It's a survival-like game. But anyway, but yeah, so a few friends of mine wanted me to comment on PewDiePie, or they mentioned him at least. And when you only got 100 subscribers, if 2 people mention something, that's more than 1%, which means you could equate that to 10 times the amount of people actually want to know. So maybe out there somewhere there's 10 people or 11 and a half that are thinking what I think about it. when I'm not necessarily defending PewDiePie, but I understand to some degree when you do humor and when you so-called like to do edgy humor or humor that can offend somebody else. There's some people that say that humor should always be satirical in a way, or it should be sarcastic. It should mean to offend, or else it's not really humor. I don't necessarily see the merit at that. I think humor can be whatever you want it to be, whatever you think is funny, whether it's a straight-up joke, whether it's a reference, or what have you. But for a while, when something is so huge and is so hurtful, sometimes people use humor in order to, recover from it. So, as bad and as horrible as Hitler and the things that he had done, obviously was, we try to find the humor in it by making fun of the man that was responsible for it. And in a sense, that almost empowers us. It means that Hitler really wasn't this angelic badass that could have destroyed the world. In a sense, making fun of Hitler makes everybody feel better, and it really makes it seem like, we had nothing to worry about. So what I'm getting at is that a lot of comedians will go to the Hitler pool and make jokes about it. There's been a number of comedians over the years that have made, jokes at Hitler. I mean, not to mention organizations or even animated series. Simpsons. I'm trying to remember Simpsons. I think Simpsons has made fun of Hitler in some degree or whatnot. I know Futurama has. And, no, Nixon, pretty much. Some stay away from the Hitler jokes, but, South Park, obviously. But, when Cartman says death to the Jews there, we know that that's not Matt and Trey Stone talking to us. That's the character of Cartman. And we know that Cartman, because of his personality, it's something that's not too far-fetched. And sometimes he actually goes so overboard with every Jew having a bag of gold around his neck that, we almost kind of laugh at his, his stupidity in a way. But yeah, so a lot of comedians have gone to the Hitler pool before, they've made jokes on Hitler or about Hitler. It's nothing new, but quite honestly, what Felix did with the Death to Jews message on Fiverr, that I do admit that was out of taste.
I got you, buddy.
He says that it was trying to be satirical. When you do satire, you're actually trying to make a point. You're not just making a straight-up joke. You're actually trying to compare it to something else, or you're trying to... There's another level of the joke than just making the joke. He was saying that, you can literally pay anyone to do anything on the internet, and that's really not a good thing. Poor people will literally do anything, for a meal or for money. That's how desperate some people are. And trying to make light of that or make fun of that is not, what you want to do. Like I said, it's in really poor tastes. You won't do that. I mean, ultimately what he did is he had something that he thought was going to be funny and went too far, and then he had to come up with a reason, like, I was just trying to show, like, no, we don't need to be shown that people will literally do anything for money, because people have done, everything for money. So, yeah, we don't need Felix to tell us that, so that's the PewDiePie thing. Let's move on to Nintendo, okay? I really want to do that. So yeah, Nintendo's overall failure to embrace technology, I still wonder, what's wrong with Nintendo? I don't get it. Why can't we get... It just seems to take Nintendo so long to come around to some of this stuff. I've been enjoying games on Xbox and to some degree on PlayStation, for decades now. And I don't get why Nintendo can't. I mean, I can understand on a technical level that they might not really get the whole online multiplayer thing, but haven't they seen how huge it is on Xbox? On Xbox 360 especially? And how people were gravitating toward that, having parties and whatnot to talk to your friends. I mean, the whole friend code thing on the Wii was hard enough, but I forget what you had to do in order just to talk, in chat with other people. I mean, that was nearly unheard of to talk to somebody, using chat on a Wii. I heard a lot of people would actually use, not Skype, but another sound, another audio channel on their PC to actually talk to each other in parties when they were playing Wii games. And I mean, digital games. Why can't we have digital games, Nintendo? Why can't I have a digital copy of Super Mario Sunshine? Why can't you have a discount? $5. You can sell it for $10 normally. Why can't we have that? Why not the original Animal Crossing? Yeah, I guess it does have those hidden codes for Legend of Zelda, right? And original Mario Brothers. I could kind of understand if you didn't want to do that, but I mean, why not? Why don't you have other GameCube games on there? Why is it every time I want to play a Nintendo game, I never get a hard... Yeah, I'm friggin' dead there. How come I don't get a hard drive on my console? How come I can't hook up another hard drive to my console for the most part? I don't know about the Nintendo Switch. That's literally coming just around the corner. I said coming around the corner. But, why can't I have digital games? Why can't I buy your games, that are not NES and Super Nintendo digitally? Nintendo, I mean, I would probably fork over the cash if I could have an account that was linked to you so that when I buy your next system, I can download Mario Sunshine again. Like, why don't you embrace that, Nintendo? And what about this whole Nintendo copyright claim thing? When you claim videos on YouTube, I mean, that is huge too. Like, although a lot of people argue the fact that, video of video games or people playing the games, that in video form is a form of fair use. But even if there's a court that's honestly we've never had a court actually rule on it. But for the most part, even if it was ruled by the Supreme Court that video game footage breaks their copyright, other companies are cool with it. Aside from Konami and maybe a couple other companies, but for the most part, they let us put the videos on YouTube. They let us get money in return for our content, but not Nintendo. Obviously, PC games don't matter because, no one's actually, putting that content, or no one's arguing that, they can't record the footage and put that online. It's the consoles where, we don't know if they're going to attack us. And Microsoft has said, yeah, go ahead. As long as you don't defame us or the company, and honestly, I think they said even as long as you don't take money. But there's other people that have been playing Xbox games and they get revenue. But Nintendo, yeah, even your creators program, it's a load of crap. Like, even if you go through the steps to become an official creator for Nintendo, then Nintendo is still going to take their money from you, but they'll give you a little bit. Like, what is it, like 60-40? Nintendo keeps 60% of it and only gives you 40? I forget. Either way, it's really not fair. Even if they keep the 40%, yeah, that's my tip. Don't punch a brontosaurus in the balls. They call it Bronto. I know that there's no such thing as a brontosaurus, but it's supposed to be a brachiosaurus. Whatever. I'm just showing I'm not completely dumb. But yeah, and the NES Classic, I mean, here we are. We're just around the corner from Nintendo launching their Switch, right? It's March. I said before that it took till April of the following year before PlayStation 3s actually showed up on shelves. but that was a $500 system, you know, if not 600. And you know, you could understand them being much more complicated, but we're rolling up on March now, and we still don't have this $60 little you know, Raspberry Pi like device that has 31 megabytes of storage. We still don't have these things on shelves. What's going on, Nintendo? I mean, why can't you get... I mean, I'm sorry, but why can't you get your shit together? Why can't you give us games in digital format so that we don't always have a disc spinning on our disk drives, wearing down our systems? You know what? Why can't we have a hard drive in our games? You don't want us to use Netflix? Okay. But let us play the games so that we're not wearing down the CD drive. Damn it, Nintendo. So that's my complaints with Nintendo. This is a game called Everspace. It has a free preview, I think. You get to play it for like maybe an hour. It's on Game Preview on Xbox One. It's on PC, of course, and I'm not sure about PlayStation 4. But anyway, yeah, so that's... I've been disappointed with Nintendo for a long time, but you know what? I mean, I've got a huge digital collection of games now on my Xbox One, and that includes digital games that are backwards compatible. I got, you know, 330 games in my digital folder. And that includes, like I said, the backwards compatible supported games. And I've got other games on 360 that I've bought digitally just because I didn't want, you know, to have a disc spinning in my system. But Nintendo, I don't get it. Why can't we have, you know, some of your GameCube games that are only available on GameCube? Why can't you give us digital downloads? You know, Metal Gear Solid. Well, it's probably Konami, obviously. They won't support that, but... sorry, like I said, I've really had a hard time with Nintendo. Nintendo's really been, I don't get it. I don't get is it just Nintendo of Japan? Are they pretty much running the show? I don't really understand, not to be mean about it, but I don't really understand what Reggie Fils-Aimé does. I know he's the president of Nintendo of America, but I never quite see him as being the one that institutes change, or like he's the one that says, hey, we really need to do this. The fans kind of want this. I don't know why, but I just never see like that's something that he speaks out for. You know, when Phil Spencer comes out and you talk to him, sure, he is a corporate man, but I feel like Reggie more or less, you know, definitely feels like you're talking to a corporate guy that, you know, obviously Nintendo has him there to dispel, you know, rumors and negativity as much as possible, and to, you know, do his little, you know, quotation mark things of like, well, you know, we at Nintendo, we're not really, you know, focusing on that now, you know, now we're focusing on this kind of thing, you know, where they kind of completely ignore what your question is if you're talking about older hardware. But, you know, when Phil Spencer gets up there and you know, announces, you know, backwards compatibility for the Xbox One, and we all rejoice, even though the man is rather humble, and he says like, well, it was really, you know, the team that was working on it. But it's like, well, of course, Mr. Spencer, but you were the one that decided it was important enough to have a team work on it. And, you know, that means a lot to us. I don't necessarily see that kind of involvement on Nintendo's side. We never really seem to know what Nintendo of Japan wants or what they want to get involved with. And I don't understand them. I'm sad to say. But on a separate note, I finally got a computer in the mail. I got it sitting next to me all boxed up. I just got it sent to me. So I'm ready to go with that. I'm going to have a copy of Adobe Premiere, I believe even Pro. Premiere Pro on it, so I'm going to be able to do editing and whatnot, but I need to still get a decent capture card. So I'm looking at, you know, one for maybe around $200 with HDMI, of course, you know, as the basic, and then I'll try to do other systems. So I'm working on it. I'm working on getting better quality for you guys so that I'm not trying to make all these videos on the Xbox One. So thanks for the support.